So we're gonna get this out of the way first. Cool. So this is a video about frame data, but it's not the normal video about frame data because this is actually one of the only things that people have made guides about. So frame data, there are many guides on YouTube and SRK and all over the place about guides on why frames work the way they do, what are plus frames, what are minus frames. So I'll talk about that a little bit. I'll give like a super TLDR version, but what I actually want to talk about is like the practical application and more than the basic example that I'm going to give right now. So as a quick TLDR, fighting games run on frames. The game has in-game frame data, so when a move is minus, that means the opponent can move before you, and when a move is plus, like this one, you can move before the opponent. Very simple. When it's 0, then you can move at the same time. Pretty straightforward. Now, the thing is though, when do you actually need to know frame data is what this video is probably more actually about. And it depends on the type of game. So the easiest way to tell whether or not you will need to know a lot of frame data in a game is whether or not actually can you delay cancel moves. Why? Because when you can delay cancel a move, this move being -4 all of a sudden doesn't matter. Because they could do, I'll make a quick recording, they could do that, or they could do this. Oh, it was airtight, wow. There you go. So when I set this on random, even though I know that this is minus, I got blown up. So it doesn't matter that it's minus like that, because they can delay cancel very, very late. So the threat of the move is higher even though it's minus. When you play a game like Street Fighter or maybe Guilty Gear, you can cancel moves into moves too, but the cancel window is tied to how active the move is, which is how long the move stays out. So in Guilty Gear, most moves have very small cancel windows despite having a lot of cancels. In Street Fighter, you usually can only cancel the special moves, so in that game, knowing frame data is extremely important, and you usually have to know everything. Damn, thanks for the sub, Encore TV, nice timing. Super nice timing. But in games when you have super big delay cancel windows, frame data is generally less important. So next, knowing that, so like I said, in Street Fighter you need to know a lot of frame data. In this game, you don't need to know so much frame data. In BlazBlue, you might not need to know so much specific frame data. So what do you spend time learning then? So my approach now is that every character, first of all, there's system stuff that you should know in general, and then every character has a few moves that you should just know what it is on block, like right away. So if we're talking about Dragon Ball, what should you know? 1, the fastest moves in the game are 6 frames. So in cases where a character doesn't have a 6-frame move, boom, you have a big advantage. 2, the jump startup of the game, which is 4 frames. It's 4 frames, right? You should know that. 3 is that Vanish is universally plus. So everyone's Vanish is plus. Everyone's Vanish is plus. When you block that, they're just plus. Those are... Is there any other super important piece of frame data that I'm forgetting offhand? Oh, of course, the default head invincibility is 4 frame startup, which is another reason why we don't just anti-air the super dash, because you can... I was good enough to not miss it. Okay, there you go. Like, you can actually miss this. Another one is that this is 0. That everyone's 6M is 0, and that it adjusts based on different distance. So this one is far, I think probably from like here. Yeah, so that one's like plus, but this one's even. From there, you want to know character stuff, and that's usually like, so offhand, right? A good piece of general knowledge, another one for Dragon Ball, is that -5 or lower, so anything that's -5 or better cannot be punished, but it's your turn. So when a character has moves that are all -5, like Bardock, so the only moves that Bardock has that aren't -5 are like this and this. as far as normals, right? Everything else is like this is -4, this is -5. Sorry, it has to show it. This is -5, this is -3, that's -4, that's -5, that's -5. 4, my bad. So what does that tell you? Do you actually need to know all that frame data the way I do? No, you don't. What you do need to know is that you can never punish Bardock outright. You can never punish him for doing like into nothing. You can't do it. Why? Because it's -5. If you do it with Trunks, Trunks is a character that his only -5 moves are this, this, and this. So when he does like, if he does pressure like this move is like -10. So you can consider like, hey, I can mash, I could jump, like I could reflect, you might think, I could take a risk, because with him, I could actually punish this move if he lets it recover. That's a very important point. Another thing you want to keep in mind too would be the who has plus moves on block. You definitely need to know this. You definitely need to know special move data and what's punishable and what's not. Because for example, like that is +2, but if you never play against Trunks and don't check his moves, then when you block this, you might think to mash, and then he's going to punish you. Bardock 2, this move is +4, so when you block this, it's generally his turn. You can take a risk if you want, but it's generally +4. So as a quick summary of that, the moves you want to know frame data for, they're system data stuff, so it's a lot about like what makes a move safe, which is again -5 or better, like jump data, vanish data, and then like specific character move data. I could honestly, it would take probably 30 minutes or so. I could go through the whole cast and literally tell you what moves you need to know the frame data for. It's usually like 2 or 3 moves by character, but instead of doing that, I think it's a better idea if you do it in the lab, because once you do it, you will commit it to memory better than if someone just tells you. What you're looking for are special moves. So for example, like, you know, this isn't punishable, this isn't punishable. Does he have something? I mean, this is punishable, but when did that come out, right? A lot of Yamcha moves are like very safe on block. Like you would know with the -5 rule, safe, safe. Oh, this is even on block. I should set the guard all, but this is even on block. -5. Plus, but slow. As you see, recurring theme, a lot of plus moves in this game are also slow. So you can pick to reflect it and maybe try to do something in the startup. Every character has moves like that. It will very, very, very much help you if you have a general idea of the frame data, not specifics, just are their block strings very safe or not? As in, do they have moves that are -6 or worse? Especially their lights or mediums. And just having a general idea of, are their special moves just safe on block and you get to take your turn, or can you punish things? In the future, if you play a game like Street Fighter or a very link-heavy game, like for example, I think Grand Blue frame data will be very important because you can't, like a lot of your far pokes, you can only cancel the specials and stuff. So in that game, you probably will need to know more frame data than this game, but that's just a nice general rule of like how to look at the numbers beyond just, oh, it's plus, so it's my turn, it's minus, so it's their turn. Hopefully that helps. Leave any questions in the comments. Sub if you feel like it. We're done, bro.